Greetings everybody and welcome back to the Vintage Sewing Machine Garage YouTube channel. You are looking at a white brand sewing machine in two-tone, sort of a light powder blue and turquoise. This is moving along with my theme. I don't know how, but I ended up, you can see if you look closely, behind this machine is of course the white designed domestic turquoise Singer cologne machine. But that's not why we're here. This machine is one of many models you could purchase back in the day. This is circa 1963, and the model number right here says Model 568. Now, I've mentioned to you all in the past that one of the things you want to do is make sure that if you need a sewing machine belt, you order one online. And I've recently taken everyone along a video journey when I'm just trying to get belts to replace the one that is for the domestic right over here. And I also have, of course, the FOF Model 6 that also needs a belt. So I thought, well, why not check this one out? Because this is another machine that, again, its belt could be perfectly fine. When you're restoring or overhauling a vintage sewing machine, I don't believe it is automatic that you're going to need a new belt. It could have been replaced, but you need to check it. So this machine, unlike the earlier machine, I believe that this domestic, again, this is a brand that belonged to the White Company as well. This machine, of course, has its belt hanging, or was hanging, for all the world to see. So, you know, I've demonstrated how to remove the belt from that machine. I had to remove it to measure it, but of course now I need to measure the belt for this machine. And when we get to the 1960s, there are plenty of machines that are still being made with belts that are exposed. You know, you see them. You can see them connecting the pulley of the motor to the hand wheel, which again I've mentioned to you all is basically a giant pulley. Well, we get into the 60s, manufacturers begin the process of covering the motor and the motor's pulley and the belt. We know it has a belt, but you may not be able to see it. Fortunately, like many products of the era, there are access screws. And in fact, there are 1, 2, and there's a third one way deep inside there. And I'm going to have to figure out how to get in there to make sure I can actually access. In fact, let's try that now. This one is, you know, oh, that was merciful. If this had not worked, I might have had to squirt some kind of penetrant oil in there. Now, I get more, what's the word I'm looking for here? I get more torque when I use a screwdriver like this one out of my screwdriver bit set, but it's too short to go all the way in to, for whatever reason, this screw is, recessed, and these below are not. Now, I noticed just now, this is plastic. It's a very good color match. You know, sometimes the color matching didn't always work well back in the day, especially for things like motors. But here, this is steel, and this is, I believe, plastic. But I'm going to go ahead and see if I can get these two screws out, at which point I'm hoping that my little side cover here, any of you who've ever been around car engines will know that back in the day, car engines were not covered. And today, most modern cars that have internal combustion engines, they have plastic covers on them. And they're often branded. So now I've taken the two lower bolts out, and I'm going to make sure that I tilt this out. It came right off, right? It did not have to take the hand wheel off to remove it, because I didn't want that recessed bolt, which Even though it's kind of a strange thing here. I didn't want, there it is. It just fell out right in my hand, but I didn't want it to go flying, so we'll just set that down inside for a moment. Now, we'll break out the flashlight here and let's see what we can see. I'm not ready to start inspecting my motor. In fact, I don't know if any of you recently saw a video series I did on a Bowmark 3100 free arm sewing machine that was made by Janome, but it had a similar setup. The motor is just sort of kind of tucked in this compartment and it's hanging on a bracket. That's not a surprise, but of course the bracket has 2 bolts. So apparently they wanted more bolts to hold that. I don't think that the motor weighs any more than the other motors. Not sure why. I don't mind it. Good. Uh-oh. Now, if you go to turn these bolts, keep in mind it's possible that these bolts have never been moved. This belt is a lugged belt. It's got a little, I can tell, I don't know if you can see this, it's got a little bit of what's the word I'm looking for here? Black soot. That would be any maybe carbon dust that has come off of the motor over time. But what I'm pointing at here is I don't think this is the original belt. I'm pretty sure it's been replaced at least once. The original belts used to last a very long time. Keep in mind, this is, this machine is, pushing, I don't know, in its early 60s if it was a person. So, and the belt looks to be fine, actually. What I'm going to do is I'm going to inspect the belt. If the belt is okay, I was actually going to remove the belt because I was going to measure it to, in case I needed a new one. But before you do that, let's inspect the belt together because we may not have to change the belt. Now, I will still be making a different video because I still need to remove the motor or remove the bracket, take the belt off because I need to inspect the motor. I'm going to be doing that anyway. But for the purposes of my recent videos on belts, I do not see any cuts. I don't see any splits. One place to look is right here where the belt, when it comes around the pulley, it's under tension. A lot of times you can look at it. What will happen often is you'll start to see, even if the belt has not broken, you'll start to see crumbling. This layer here, this sort of, I don't know what, some sort of synthetic rubber layer will start to crack. And there, it looks like it's put together with some sort of fiber. It's like an aggregate of fiber and rubber or some sort of resin. And I'm impressed with the shape that it's in. And looking at the tension, it seems fine. I can push in about 1/4 of an inch. Have no reason to think it's overly loose or tight. Everything seems to turn beautifully. So again, I was all ready because I'm ordering belts. I thought, well, let's check this one out too, but I don't want to have to order a belt and then come back and order another. But you know what? This one's okay. So this is a great time to point out to all of you, there are times, this is why you go through an old machine. I have no idea what this machine's life was like. I'm pretty sure that it's had at least one new belt in its life, but who knows how long ago it was. I don't know where this machine had been stored. If machines get stored in unfriendly places, by that I mean like hot attics or damp basements, the machines don't appreciate it and they don't like it, and neither do their parts, such as belts and cords. So I am happy to report that I don't need a new belt for this machine. I will be reusing the belt. There's no reason to replace it. But again, when you get a machine, whether it's from a stranger or a friend or a relative or whomever, you might inherit it. You might find it on the side of the road at the end of a yard sale where no one bought it. I literally found a featherweight once. I kid you not. It's just on the side of the road. But the point is, as you are getting a machine, and you're trying to become familiar with it. You're trying to figure out, okay, is this thing going to sew? What kind of shape is it in? Well, if you're going to do that, you really need to kind of go through that inspection process. And there are many places in a machine. In fact, I particularly showed that to all of you with the Bowmark 3100, that off-white free-arm machine, because I had never worked on one before. So I had seen machines similar to it, obviously, but I wanted to know how do things come off of the machine? How do I disassemble or inspect in a way that's not going to be causing any harm or damage to the machine? And your belt is one of those things. So even though I have not even begun to go through this machine, clean it, inspect it, go through all of the areas that you all see me go through. In fact, you've seen this, either this model or one similar. It may have had a different number, but again, there were many versions of machines because they would hit different price points. They would just add a little feature here and raise the price, take away a feature and lower the price. But again, this is something that I know if I'm getting ready to place an order for some parts for a machine, then if you're going to do that, you don't even have to be a sewing machine restorer. Maybe it's your machine and you want to get it running. Before you go and order things, you might be able to get all of your stuff ordered or found, any replacement parts that you might need. You might be able to do it all at once if you go through and sort of do a diagnostic. That's really what I'm doing here. And again, I've never plugged the machine in. I haven't even inspected the cords yet. That'll come later. But just knowing, I'm getting ready to order some things. What else could we do? The cord, I have cords. Right now I know that I have in my inventory some new reproduction dual block cords if I need one. I don't know that I do. This one may be fine. Again, and I have pedals because this pedal may work fine. I don't know. But when it comes to things like, the bobbin winder tire, your cords, as I mentioned, and then of course the motor belt, go ahead and inspect them all up front. And that way, if you're going to place an order, it might even save you some money on your shipping. Some of the suppliers will actually give you a break on what you're paying for shipping. Sometimes they'll even ship it for free, but they have a minimum. So, and that way you can get it all ordered. Now I have not inspected the brushes. You might think, well, hey, I actually have a number of motor brushes in my own inventory of parts. I keep a lot of this stuff, or try to, because I'm always working on someone's machine. But I don't know. In fact, I don't know what the brushes on this motor are like. However, in this case, I'm going to go ahead and get my belts ordered. I know I don't need the tire. I actually have tires. But if there was something, I know with my recent experience with belts, if I don't have the belt, I want to know if I need to order it, and I want to know now. Brushes can need replacing, although it's not as common as a belt. Brushes take a while to wear out. I have come across machines that had worn out brushes and they needed new ones, but belts, that should be one of the main things you start looking at before you even start working on the machine. You can go online, get your parts ordered, or you can go into a local shop if they happen to have. Some of you are fortunate to still have sewing shops in your communities, and if you do, in my experience, it's not that expensive. If I needed to get a belt quickly, I can get it for probably around $10. If I order it online, maybe it's $6 or $7. Depends on how quickly you want the belt. Maybe you just want to go and get it and someone has it. You just don't want to be bothered with having to go online and wait for it. That's up to you. But the point here is you take a look at the machine. There are certain things we know that they don't age well in terms of many decades. Anything that's made of soft materials, rubber, plastics, or whatever the compound is that goes into making these belts, those are not. Don't be surprised if your machine might need a belt or a bobbin tire or even a new cord, right? So you want to at least look at these things, and that way you'll know. And then you won't get halfway into restoring the machine and think, oh, now I got to wait another 3 weeks, because you ordered the belt, you waited for it, and then, oh, I need this. Now I have to do that. So just basically just a words to the wise that this can really help you be efficient with your time. And many of you who have machines that you're trying to restore, you want to bring them back. Maybe it's a family heirloom. Maybe you just want to get into sewing. Whatever your reasons are, many of you are really excited. And, you want to keep going, and it can be frustrating. I know at times when you say, oh, well, now I need this and now I need that. These parts aren't that expensive, but sometimes it's fun to get going because you're really excited about getting the machine up and running. And this is one of the ways that can save you time by inspecting one of the most important parts of a sewing machine, because if you don't have a good belt, you're not going to be doing a lot of sewing. I hope this was helpful for those of you who have been consistent viewers of this channel, or maybe you're brand new and you just wanted to, maybe you've got a white sewing machine, turquoise or any other color, and you just wanted to see a video about it. Maybe you're trying to learn about it. So, thank you all for watching, and we will see you next time.